Hey there, it's Christina Louise, and I want to talk to those of you who are battling triggers, right? Battling anger outbursts, battling regret because you look back on how you interacted with your kids, your husband, your coworkers, your friends, or your family members, and you feel guilt. You don't want to be showing up as this hot tempered, explosive, irritable, annoyed, depressed, or anxious person, and yet you're watching yourself show up that way anyway. So if that's you, please, no shame, no condemnation, just listen to me, okay? Because I'm going to tell you a story about the last year of my life, and it's going to help you understand how these triggers are controlling you instead of you controlling them, and how this is screwing up your life financially, relationship wise. It's also wreaking havoc on your health. Doctors will tell you that the number one reason for emergency room visits is stress. And so if you do not learn how to manage the stress that causes you to behave in ways that you don't want to, you might end up in a hospital. And that's not good for you or any of your loved ones. All right. So I want to help you stay in the game. I want to help you manage all this stress. We've got it coming at us from every direction. Okay. The movies we watch, the television programs, the social media, even the things that make us laugh nowadays we're laughing because we're so stressed out. Like, I will just tell you, I was watching some YouTube shorts the other day about this trans issue, and there's a trans woman who is sharing her point of view on some of this stuff, and it's hilarious. But what she is showing us is happening in our school systems, is happening in our child's hearts and minds. It's really scary and it's stressful. And so I had to pull myself away from those YouTube shorts, even though I think they're funny, even though I think they're incredibly intelligent, even though I agree with her point of view. If I don't stop watching this stuff, it's going to give me a heart attack eventually. It's going to cause me to be irritable and anxious and depressed with my family members. And I can't have that. I don't know about you, but having a strong, healthy, connected bond with my child, first and foremost, because he's the most vulnerable one in our family right now. He's the youngest. And then having a strong, healthy, connected bond with my husband. Those are my top priorities. Because how you do things inside, behind closed doors, is the real you. Like, that's the real you. So if you're hearing yourself saying things like, well, I only get stressed out with my kid, and if my husband would only change, and if there were just more good guys out there, whatever your excuse is, I'm telling you that's not how it works. It's complete BS. You are you. Right? And what's on the inside comes out no matter who's in the room. You might be able to slap a happy face on it and keep your composure for a while because you're getting paid by your boss or because you don't want to lose out on that hot date. But the true test of your character is, think about the number one person in your life who upsets you and how you respond, how you react to that person. That is you. That's your set point. Everything else, you're just faking it. So I know I'm going to piss a couple people off. Please don't click off. Please hear me out for the next 10 minutes and at least keep an open mind to what I'm saying, because I understand that it is very easy. Even I've fallen victim to this kind of ideology. Well, I'm only like that because you're that way. I'm only like that because I'm short on money. I'm only like that because I don't feel good. No, girl, that's who you are right now. That's what you're dealing with, and that's what's got to change. If you want strong, healthy, connected bonds with other people, you want to move forward in your financial life, in your career, you want excellent health, you have to learn how to manage your mind and your emotions no matter what's going on around you. No excuses. And when you make a mistake, you need to learn how to hold yourself accountable, make amends, make apologies, and correct yourself, right? Here's the thing. You can't correct yourself. You've got to connect to a higher power and know how to employ that higher power to help you get into the subconscious mind and actually make those changes. Just a quick tip. So if you feel like you've worked a lot on yourself and you're trying to use the mind over matter, you're trying to use the law of attraction, you're trying to use the manifestation, and you're running on empty, it's not working, you've done tons of therapy, you're still showing up in ways that you don't want to, you still don't have the peace, joy, and love flowing in your heart and your home, you don't have those healthy, strong, connected bonds with your husband, with your kid. Maybe you don't even have a husband or a kid and you really, really want that. What I'm going to talk to you about today, and the program that I have to offer, is the pathway. It's the way out of the hell that you're living in. Okay? So I'm going to tell you a little story. So last year, let's say about 15 months ago, I made 2 decisions from a triggered place. Now, my goal is to always be calm, cool, collected, and confident, like truly within myself, be at a place of rest before I make big decisions. But I was under a lot of stress. There was a lot of twists and turns. There was a lot of fear going on and some surprises along the way. And I ended up making, in the matter of 3 months, I made 2 big decisions from a triggered, fearful place. I did not work my energy before I made these 2 decisions, or at least maybe I thought I did, but I didn't really. I didn't check in with a mentor. I didn't check in with a coach. I didn't check in with my guidance before I made these decisions, and they wrecked. And I mean wrecked me this last year. They affected my health in terrible ways. I actually had a slip and fall and became disabled for like 6 or 7 months. They wrecked me financially, drained me financially, and they put so much stress on my relationships in my home that I almost lost my marriage. Okay? So I'm coming to you today from a vulnerable place. I'm being honest with you. I'm not perfect. I'm not a guru. I'm not your savior. Okay? And I hope you're not looking for one, right? I'm not perfect, but I have lived my life the last 15 years-ish on purpose, being the change that I want to see, taking full responsibility for my thoughts, feelings, behaviors, and outcomes. And when it comes time to make decisions, whether they're big or small, making sure that my spirit is guiding my mind and that my mind is guiding my body. That's how you win. You are a threefold being right now. If you're watching me on video and you're a live, real human being, you are truly a spirit. You are not a mind. You are not a body. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You're not your feelings. You're not your circumstances. You're not your outcomes. You are spirit. You're here in physical form with a mind and with a body. You don't say, when somebody asks you who you are, you don't point to your head and say, I'm Christina. You say, I'm Christina, because your soul lives here. Your spirit lives here. The center of you, the real deep down you, is a spirit, is non-physical, but you have incarnated into physical form, and now you have a mind and you have a body, just like you probably have a house and you probably have a car and you have an internet connection, and you're watching this right now. But you're not your internet connection, and you're not your house, and you're not your car. Those are things that you have. So your mind and your body are things that you have. They're things that you own. And until you learn how to take full ownership over that mind and that body and bring them in alignment with your spirit, your true self, where your true self is leading you and guiding you through this lifetime, you are never going to experience the success, the freedom, or the sustainable outcomes in health, career, and relationships that you're seeking. So stay open to this. You don't have to believe me. All right? So my spirit wanted one thing, but I let my mind and my body, my fear, my emotions, what I thought was possible, and my fear of not getting what I didn't want actually put me in a situation where I did. Okay? And it cost me dearly. And I want to make sure that if you're still operating just from your mind or just from your emotions, that you stop doing that today. So, my question to you is, why don't we talk? Why don't we talk about the fear? Why don't we talk about the outcomes that you want? Why don't we talk about your true heart's desires? Why don't we talk about the thing that you know you have to have or be or do in this lifetime, or you're going to die with regret? And that's not just a question between me and you. That's a question for the whole world in general. Why don't we talk about these things? Why don't I turn on the television and see people talking about these things? What do we turn on the TV and see? Gossip, drama, wars, violence, winning the lottery, playing a game show. How is that helping you? How is that getting you forward? How is that the things that you're doing today, the things that you're focused on today, are those the things that you're going to be remembering when you're on your deathbed? And the reason that I bring the deathbed up is because at the end of the day, those things that you're thinking about on your deathbed are the things that truly matter to you. And they might be a little bit different for you than they are for me, but at the end of the day, they have some things in common, right? Especially if you've been following me for a while, you're probably a spiritual person. You're a little bit into the woo-woo. You're somewhere between 35 and 55. You might be single. You might be married. You might have a business. You might not. But at the core of who you are, you know that you're meant for more. You've been treated like the black sheep of the family, and here's why. Because you've been set apart, because you've been called, because you chose a family that was heavy in lower frequency and vibration, a darker atmosphere, so that you could bring forth the light, and you could be the game changer in that family tree, and you could raise children who go on in a more light-filled, enlightened place. They make a difference in the world. They build charities. The women that I work with, at the end of the day, once they get things good with themselves and they get things good with their family, they want to go out there in the world and make a difference. They want to start a charity. They want to write a book. They want to become an entrepreneur. They want to launch a business. They want to be influencing people in a positive way, right? But it all starts with you. And so if you've got incessant thinking, mind chatter going on, you can't stay present, you don't know how to develop deep bonds between yourself and your loved ones, or yourself and yourself, if you're walking around thinking that you're a body, you're not a body. This is not who I am. This is just my vehicle for communicating with you in the three-dimensional world, but this is not who I am. So if you're walking around thinking that you're a body, thinking that the voices inside your head are you, they're not you. And it's time to start kicking a lot of them out, so that you can hear yourself and you can think clearly and you can show up and be who you want to be, even if you're triggered. So my goal the last 15 years has been to work through the trigger, come to a place of stillness, tap into my higher power, my spiritual nature, and make the best choice for myself and my family. That's how you win. That's how I built a 6-figure business with no money in 7 or 8 months. That's how I was able to understand and be led to the right doctors and modalities to heal 100% mental and physical disability. That's how I walked into a grocery store one day and walked out with a husband. That's how I gave birth to my first kid at 40 without IVF or the need for a C-section. The things that I will remember on my deathbed, the things that are truly important to me, my purpose, my passion, my, the physical health of my body, the relationship with my husband, having children, later on in life. These are the things that I'm going to look back on my life and say they were good. I'm not going to live with regret. I'm not going to live a mediocre life. I'm going to be extraordinary, because that's how God created me to be. And so anything going on in my mind or my body that's stopping me, I know how to get rid of it. I know how to move through it. It's not that it doesn't ever happen. It does. I know how to move through it. It's not that I don't ever fail. I just told you. I failed twice last year, and it cost me and my family a whole year of pain and suffering that we're just coming out of today. And I'm being vulnerable with you so that you don't think that you have to be perfect, and you don't think that you always have to get it right, and you don't have to keep walking around with this mask on, pretending that everything's okay. It might look great on the outside, but how are you feeling on the inside truly? Can you even sit still long enough to find out, to check in? Do you know that you can get up ahead of problems before you have them? Do you know that you can tune in and get the right words to say at the right time to make that connection with your loved one when you're drifting? Did you know that you can reprogram the cells in your body to be able to give birth in your 40s if that's something that's on your heart to do? And do you know that the clock is ticking and that we're not going to be here forever? And that the dark forces working on this planet to enslave and control are getting craftier, more sophisticated, and most people don't even know that they're being deceived or what they're being deceived about. They don't even know that they're living in deception, and you could be one. So why don't we talk? Why don't we come up with a game plan to make sure that you are being and doing and having exactly what you know is best for you, that you feel content? Let's get you out of the guilt game. Let's get you out of relationship hell. And let's get you back on purpose. Let's get you back inspired. Let's enlighten you, meaning take off some of these heavy layers of anger or guilt about things that happened in the past. Get you in alignment with the love of your life. Get you in alignment with a better connection with your kids. Revitalize your health and get you on purpose in your career and in your money-making activities, so that it's not just good for you, it's good for the world, so that you can die satisfied. So that when you leave this planet, you know you left the mark that you wanted to make, instead of constantly beating yourself up or living in regret or depression or anxiety or guilt or shame or confusion because you don't know how to tap into your higher power, you haven't developed your spiritual gifts, and you aren't in ownership of your mind and your body. These are yours. They're yours. And since the day you step foot in a classroom, the world has been teaching you away from it, has been enslaving you, has been teaching you how to follow other people's instructions. That's not how you win in life. If you have a coach, take the coaching and apply it. That's another mistake that I've made in the past is, I hired a business coach. She told me what to do. I did it. I had great success. And she said, okay, we're going to do it again. And I was like, no, I'm tired. That's another decision that was 9 years ago that I made from a triggered place. Not from my spiritual place, not from my inner knowing place, but from my body is tired. And, the money's good now, so I don't really have to do it, right? So I was like in my mind thinking, I don't have to take this coach's advice, right? This woman that I paid, this woman who helped me break 6 figures in 7 or 8 months, right? I'm tired. I let my body tell me what to do. And my mind said, well, I'm already making good money. And so, I don't really need to do it now. No, so I let my mind and my body, and I suffered for that too. And so, you're going to suffer in life. We all suffer. But why not limit that amount of suffering? Why not get up ahead of these problems, right? Why not have somebody with you standing shoulder to shoulder who can see your blind spots, right? If I had taken that trigger, that conflict with my business coach to my spiritual mentor and talked to him about it, he would have told me what I'm telling you. Hey, check in, tune in, make sure you're made. This is a big decision, right? But I had just pulled off this first big year and I was tired, right? He might have told me, go take a week break and then get back on the horse, right? But instead, I decided to coast, to be comfortable, and it cost me. I could have been at $1 million in 3 years instead of doing the multiple 6 figures that I did, doing it my way. So, really important that you're not letting your mind and your body dictate your decisions, that your spirit is telling your mind and your body what to do. And again, as I've shared with you in these stories today, I'm still doing well. I'm still alive. What I've been through in this last year would have taken most people out of the game. You can always get up and dust yourself off and get back on the horse. There's always another opportunity, but why not limit them? Instead of me, I'm telling you about a few mistakes that I've made in the last 9 years. How many things are you riddled with regret about right now? It's probably a whole lot more. And that's just because this knowledge and this information that I have gathered over the last 20 years that cost me over $1 million of my own money to find, and 20 years of my time to put together for you and understand and practice and test out and research and all of that, right? Because you don't have access to that because it's hidden, but it's hidden in plain sight. And once I start pointing it out to you, you're going to be like, wow, like you're going to see the world in a completely different way. And you're going to live with the freedom and the connection and the joy and the love that you were born for, that you're designed for. So why don't we talk? There's a link under this video. Click it, find a time. Let's get to work finding out what your spirit is crying out for. Because I'll tell you, I was just on the phone with my mom today and I told her, now I understand why I had such a hard time in school, K through 12, and why I only completed a 2-year degree in college, even though I had tons of people around me telling me, Christina, you're so smart. You need a master's degree. Christina, you're so smart. You deserve a PhD. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And that's because before I came to these tools and techniques that I have to share with you that are game-changing, controlling your mind, controlling your emotions, tuning to your spirit, developing your spiritual gifts, developing healing abilities, developing your intuition, right? Putting your heart first, head next, so that you're winning, so that you're connected, so that you're joyful, so that peaceful, so that you're fulfilled, so that you're not riddled with regret, so that you're not beating yourself up, so that you're not procrastinating, so that you're not sitting on the sidelines when you know you're meant to be up on stage, right? I was in school, right? We have to go to school. And I would have such a hard time in the classroom. And so I was watching this video the other day that was talking about how our school system is still designed for the industrial age, when people's survival and success depended on following instructions, and us, the employers ringing a bell and us jumping to that bell. That's during the industrial age, that's what you had to do to survive and succeed. Well, our school systems haven't changed, but the world has changed a lot. And so the ones who are successful today in the world are creators, are innovators, they're entrepreneurs, right? They're creators, not people who just follow instructions. They're leaders, they're not followers. And so I was born to be a leader. In numerology, I have a one life path. So school was never going to be very good for me. So that's why I was always running away and I was always skipping school. And so it was just fun to talk to my mom about that and say, hey, I'm really sorry about all that hell I gave you, but please know I was being led by my spirit who was trying to protect me from that brainwashing. And in college, same thing, but for a different reason that I'm not going to take your time going into. But the point is that I spent a lot of money. I spent over $80,000 trying to go beyond my 2-year degree when my spirit was telling me, you're done, you did your 2 years, you got what you needed, now it's time to go to Hawaii. Now it's time to go into eco-villages. Now it's time to learn different skills that you cannot learn in college and have different experiences that travel and different things that my spirit knew I was going to need today at 43. I'll be 43 in a couple months, 42, 43, right, in the last 10 years, that school was never going to ever give me. So if you keep using your head and you keep using your body to make decisions, you're going to keep losing out on the goodness that you and God have planned for this lifetime. And your kids, if you have them, they're suffering watching you do it. And so that's what I really want to stop. I want to stop the suffering for you and your child. And I want to make sure that if you have a vision for a family and you haven't been able to find a man or you haven't been able to get pregnant, that you have trained your mind and your body and you've readied yourself for that. Because having children is just the best gift in the world, but it can also be the most taxing, stressful thing you will ever effing do. And so if you're showing up belittling, blaming, arguing, yelling, screaming, or depressed on the couch, it's no good for you. It's no good for the next generation. And I am all about making sure that we're raising a generation of healthy, aligned, spiritual beings who are going to be game changers in the world. So if you're with me, we should talk. We need to talk. And there's a link below this video. Click it, find a time. Don't let excuses get in your way. Don't let how you feel get in your way. Don't let your brain get in the way. Let your spirit lead you. So if it's a yes for you, take the next step, totally free. Click the link. Let's find a time to talk. We will tap into your vision. We will tap into your truth. We will tap into your spirit. And together we'll come up with a game plan to make sure that your spirit, your mind, and your body are all in alignment with the vision that you have for your life. And that you know how to manage your mind and your emotions so you're taking action steps every single day to achieve that goal. I'm so curious to hear what your vision and your goals are. I look forward to seeing you on the call.